So, welcome back to another episode of Power of the BI. I am Tarad, and I am here to help you feel your ambitions and learn BI, your road to six-figure success. We're gonna work on it's pretty much the same project that we've been looking at. Not necessarily working on it, but pretty much getting an understanding of what it takes to build a Power BI report, which turns into a Power BI dashboard. Um, Same project we've been looking at all the time. Again, it's a coffee shop project. Um, I do again want to highly emphasize this is not any data that has come from a specific coffee barista, if that's what it's called. I think it's called a coffee barista, or maybe that's the person that works at the coffee shop. I don't know. Anyway, it's not an official report. It's not anything that's secretive that should not be used for um, learning purposes. This is a report that I actually created from scratch and using it to teach in my Power of the BI.com class. So, with that said, we're going to move over to Power BI and we are going to continue to look at this particular report. Again, this report is not a report that was developed by any specific company. It's not from the Big Green brand of coffee guys. It's not from the Golden Arches where you might buy your morning coffee, or it's not from any particular donut shop that sells coffee such as the one with the red ring and always hot. So just take that into consideration. But if you are in the coffee industry, or if you are looking to get into the coffee industry, this is definitely a report that you want to take a look at, just to get some idea of how you can grow your business, or how to determine what your business is looking like. Again, this is BI, business intelligence, not AI, artificial intelligence. This is real information. But at the same time, this is information that can be moved into a machine learning environment so that predictions can be made and forecasts can be made on revenues, the types of people that will come in and buy your coffee, or that buy coffee, different locations and things like that. So with that said, we were looking at this particular report, and we were analyzing this report. Remember, we started at a very basic level with an Excel spreadsheet, and we call that Excel spreadsheet a data source. But again, understanding and remembering that it doesn't matter what the source of data is. Once we bring that data inside of Power BI, it does not matter what that source of data is. In this particular case, it is an Excel spreadsheet, but we could have several different sources, whether it be databases, whether it be SQL Server databases, Microsoft databases, Oracle databases. It does not matter which database we bring the data in from, Excel spreadsheets, CSV files. It does not matter. Once we get that data inside of Power BI, it's all the same. And we can have several different sources of data coming in to Power BI. But here's the deal. The overall arching goal here is to understand that you can make six figures building Power BI reports, building Power BI dashboards. You do not have to have a computer science degree. I come from a background that had nothing to do with building dashboards, building reports, anything dealing with tech. But I would like to believe that I'm one of the best in the game. I mean, hands down, I believe I'm one of the best in the game. Does that sound arrogant? I hope not. What I want you to take from that is that hard work and dedication and sticking to it will garnish you and guarantee you. I think garnishing is a word. A level of success that you probably didn't believe that you would be receiving, or worthy of receiving, at this age, at this level, whatever your case may be. It does not matter. You can be successful. And I am saying within 4 to 6 months of participating in the Power of the BI.com course, you can be demanding that six-figure salary. Now, I do say that that's an average because, as I said before, I think the range is probably somewhere between $48 an hour and $55 an hour, which is somewhere around $99,000 to $114,000. Again, that $100,000 is on average, but if you have the time to put in, and what I'm going to say is, if you're not at that six-figure mark and you're trying to get there, I don't think that there should be a reason why you don't have the time to put in to for the next 4 to 6 months in order to demand that six-figure salary. But with that said, what I want to do here is I want to continue to go through, and we're analyzing this report. We're looking at different visualizations, and as you can remember, the visualizations are the different visuals on the Power BI report. We have a group of cards that we have here, as we spoke about before, and here we have columns, and a column chart and a bar chart that we used before, that we analyzed before, and again another column chart that we analyzed, peak hour and peak hour purchases by gender. We're not going to spend a whole lot more time on the column chart, the bar chart, and analyzing that data, or looking at the visuals that we use to analyze that data. We are going to go to another visual, and that visual we're going to use, that we're going to look at, is the pie chart. So I'm going to come over, and we are going to look at the pie chart. Again, it's the same pie chart, same data that we've been using all the time. It's just I've removed all the other visuals, just to show you just how simple it is to create a dashboard or a report. And again, I want to say that we're using the term report and dashboard interchangeably, because a dashboard is not a dashboard until we publish it and others have access to viewing the data that they want to view specifically. But for us, building the report in Power BI desktop, it actually is a report. It's something that we're building on. It's not an actual dashboard, but it looks just like the dashboard. When I click on this visual, we can tell that now it's not a dashboard, because when you click on a dashboard, you don't get the outline. You can't just delete that visual. So just want to be real specific, real clear on the differences between a dashboard and a report. But those of you that are participating in the powerofthebi.com course, you already know this. For those of you who are not, just giving you this information just so that you'll be on the same page as everyone else. Now, here we are, we have a visualization, and this visualization is called a pie chart. We're using it's not a pie chart. This visualization is called a donut chart. The reason why it's not a pie chart is because a hole is cut out of the middle, just like as it would be with a donut. A donut has a hole that's in the middle of a donut. But if this was a whole circle that we were looking to visualize data, this would be considered to be a pie chart. Just trying to get a gauge on time, make sure we were on course, on time, being respectful of your time. But given that we have a hole cut out, it is considered to be a donut chart. And with the donut chart, typically we would be looking at percentages of units of something that we would be analyzing in the data. This particular case, we're looking at product sales by weather. Product sales by weather. And the weather, sunny weather is indicated by yellow, cloudy is indicated by this teal blue, teal green type color, and rainy is considered this dark teal color. Now you say, well, why didn't they use red for sunny and maybe like a yellow or a white for cloudy and orange for greeny, orange for rainy? So here's the deal. When we are creating reports, the one thing we want to be cognizant of is the color schemes that are used by that particular company or your customers marketing department. Most companies, not every, but most companies have specific colors that they like to use within their organization. In this particular case, again, this is not a specific company, but just give you some idea. Let's just say that this company like to use these three colors, or maybe even five colors. But out of those five colors, these are the three colors they like to use. It's not a good idea to try to reinvent the wheel. It's not a good idea to try to convince the customer that they probably should use red for sunny because the sun is red, and orange for rainy because it lets you know that it's kind of on the path of a bad weather day. Reason being is this. Well, that is the reason. Company marketing departments have colors that they like to use, and those are the colors that we should use. So one of the first questions you should ask when you're analyzing data or when you're given a project is, are there colors that we should be using? Does marketing have a color? I forgot what it's called within marketing, but does the marketing department does your marketing team have colors that you prefer that we use on this particular report? And then they'll give you the probably a PDF sheet or some type of doc showing which colors that they like to use. Now, also understand that when you use red, typically red means bad on a report, and green means good. So if you don't have a color scheme or color schematic to use given to you by the customer, I would say, as a rule of thumb, this is not something that's written down. This is just Tarad's Power of the BI.com rule number, I don't know, 777,500. I don't know. But I would just use this as a rule of thumb. And as a rule of thumb, only use red if you don't have color schemes that you should use. Now, let me back up. Let me say this first. If the company uses red or they use shades of red, there's nothing wrong with using red. And there's nothing wrong with using green or yellow. But if they do not give you a color scheme, what I would say is do not use red, yellow, or green except for red showing negative or red being bad, green being positive or good, and yellow and or orange being a cautionary color of, hey, at the stage of these values or the stage of this data, there is a potential risk, or we're going in a negative direction, or we're going in a positive direction using yellow or orange. So again, red should be used for negative or bad, or to indicate negative or bad. Green should be to use or to indicate positive or good values, and yellow and or orange can be used to show the trend of either going up as positive or going down as negative. That's only if you do not, again, if you do not have color schemes provided by the customer. At that point, if you have color schemes provided, if you have colors provided by the customer, what you would do at that point is you would determine which of those colors, if you are going to use positive or negative. And actually, at that point, I'm not going to say that. If you're given a color scheme by a customer, as long as you're consistent with how you use that color, you use a specific or particular color, you're going to be okay. Just be consistent. For instance, let's say you have dogs, cats, and mice, and your colors are black, red, or red, yellow, and green. If you use red for dogs throughout the report, if you use red for dogs in the initial case, always use red for dogs. If you use yellow for mice in any particular case, or in this very beginning of the report, always use yellow. And if you use green to show cats or to identify a cat the values of cats or the count of cats in the initial space of the report, be consistent throughout the report. And the reason why I say throughout the report is because that first visual, as I said before, you may have 6 visuals on a page. If you have 6 visuals on a page, each of those colors should identify each one of those entities each time. If you have different pages on the report, if you used red for dogs on page 1, you should use red for dogs on page 6. If that did not make sense or you're not understanding that, leave me a comment in the comments section here. Before I go any further, one thing I want to do is, because I always get to the end and I forget to do this, I want to definitely say thank you to our sponsor for this episode. This episode is sponsored by BLK Digi, BLKDIGI.com, BLKDigi.com, online retailer where vendors can sell their products and vendors can buy products from vendors that are selling online. So again, thank you, BLKDigi.com. Another thing is, if you have not already, like this video and subscribe to this channel. Not and or subscribe to this channel, or like this channel. Like this video and subscribe to this channel. So with that said, let's keep moving. So we have the coffee shop financial report here, and we now are analyzing the data of the product sales by weather. So we see that we have 12.9% of the products being sold on rainy days, 42.99% are sold on cloudy days, and 44.62% are sold on sunny days. So we're selling more product on sunny days. Well, actually the product that we're selling here is the mocha. So let's clear out the mocha and let's see what that looks like now. So now with all the products in all locations, in all weather patterns, in all age groups, we see that we have 15,000 sales, an average of 4.47 transaction value, and 70.77 retention rate, which means we're keeping customers, with 3.03 inventory turnover. Now, that's allowing us to visualize by all products, all weather, all locations, all age groups, and all gender. So now we see that we have 27.58% of our total products sold on rainy days, and 36.25% sold on cloudy days, and 36.17% sold on sunny days. So let's just look at cloudy days right now. Our total products that we sell on cloudy days is 36.25%. But let's take a specific product, let's say espresso. Now, espresso, we're selling 39.6.3% of our espressos on sunny days. But on cloudy days, we have 29.88% of our espresso sales. So as you can see, when we make selections inside of Power BI, our data changes, which is giving the company the ability to make decisions of how they sell products, when they sell products, when they should increase the product inventory, when to identify product inventory is low, when to identify what age group is coming inside of the store at different times to buy different products. And what this does is, we know that if 35 to 44-year-olds are coming in on rainy days, which is associated here, we want to have that product ready for them. If we say, well, let's look and say we have 55-year-olds coming in on cloudy days. So we have more 55-year-olds coming in, 55 and up year old age group, to come in on cloudy days to buy product. then we know we want to increase the product that these guys are having. So we're looking at the weather forecast to determine when these guys are coming in. And of course, this is an age group that is probably more likely to be nearing retirement or at retirement, and they're coming in on cloudy days because, you know, they may walk around the park, or they may be out on a stroll or doing certain things, outdoor activity that now they're not able to do, or they're not going to do because it may rain. So then I want to know, what products are these guys purchasing? If I look at all the products, I see that I can tell what their patterns are, but I want to see what products that they're buying. Espresso is on a cloudy day, is 27.46%. Cappuccino is at 29.84%. Espresso is at 43%. That espresso is the largest number. Well, now we see that the latte is at the largest number. So we want to make sure that we have that latte. Well, let's look at mocha first. So between latte and mocha on cloudy days, our 55 and up customers are coming in to purchase product. So we want to make sure the products that they have on cloudy, that they purchase on cloudy days, we want to make sure that that product is there, right? So that's giving us some idea of how to evaluate, or evaluating, or analyzing, not evaluating, but analyzing the data using the donut chart visualization. But let's go over to the tree map. Tree map, again, I think is kind of an interesting, visual. I can tell why they call it a map, but I can't necessarily tell why they call it a tree. But you know, that is what it is. So in a tree map, the tree map pretty much shows you the different values of a specific entity within certain categories. And the values that we're looking at here are product sales by location. And the categories are rural, urban, and suburban. So we see that in the rural areas, there's 6,000, the value of 6,000 being sold, 5,000 being sold in urban, and 4,000 being sold in suburban. Again, now, what does this number represent? Is that going to be in in thousands of dollars, or thousands of people? Again, we have to go back and we have to look at the column chart. Well, look at the table again to identify what we're analyzing. But right now, we can tell, no matter what it is, we're analyzing it using a tree map. Now, we would use the tree map very similar to how we use the donut chart, by selecting which products are being sold at each one of those locations. And we see that in the rural location, the cappuccino is sold more than the suburban or the urban. But if we say on a specific weather day, we're still seeing that the cappuccino is sold, well, now we're seeing the cappuccino is sold more in the rural, slightly more in the rural than in the urban. And if we show here on the rainy day, cappuccino is sold more, almost doubled the amount from the rural to the suburban. So again, we're analyzing the data, and we're using the tree map to tell the story of where that data is being sold and how much of that, in this particular case, product sales are by location. We still have our cards here, so we haven't changed anything out. We still have our cards here, so our cards are actually telling the story as well. Our cards are giving a more clear, well, not a more clear visualization, but it's giving us more information as to what is being sold as well, because now we have cloudy. Well, let's clear out the cloudy. And now we see that let's clear out the cappuccino. We see that the total sales 15,000, 4.47, 70, 15,000 in total sales, 4.47 average transaction value, which would be $4.47. Average retention rate is 70.77. Again, we would have to speak with the customer to determine, what are we basing this retention rate on? Is this retention rate of product? Is it retention rate of cups? Is it retention rate of customers? I would venture to say that it's retention rate of customers, but what calculation are we using to determine this retention rate? Average inventory turnover. That could be the cups. That could be the cups. That could be the coffee. That could be the mocha. That could be the latte. That could be everything that's inside that we're using as inventory to determine inventory turnover. Let's see here. So let's clear that out. So we see now that we can analyze the data using a pie chart. We can analyze the data using a tree map. And last but not least, we are going to analyze the data right now using a funnel. Again, that funnel could be inverted to where it was not going up, going down. It could be going up to where the smallest value could be the largest value. I need to be able to read here, but now we're analyzing the total sales by product. Let's see here. Product sale. So we analyze using the tree map by product sales by location, the pie chart, product sales by weather, the bar chart, product sales by age group, the column chart, purchase frequency versus average transaction value and peak hour purchases by gender. We come back over to the funnel and we're looking at product sales by product. Where I'm going with that is we do not want to show this, we do not want to analyze the same data in a report using different visuals. We've got data. We've analyzed the data as we were reviewing our data view or our table view, where we looked at what was being brought in for the report. Now we want to create different scenarios. We don't want to use the same scenario to analyze data in a report. Meaning you don't want to do total sales by product using a funnel chart and use total sales by product using a bar chart, or use total sales by product using a column chart. You want to be able to tell a story, but in telling that story, you want to be able to tell the whole story. You want to show all or as much of the different as much of the data being captured in different ways as possible, so that a person that is reviewing the report, they can look at this report and they can say, hey, here we're analyzing the data by purchase frequency versus average transaction value. Then we have product sales by weather, product sales by sales group, product sales by location, so that they can make conscious decisions as to how they want to direct the business. Do they want to focus it on the age group? Do they want to focus it on products by weather? Do they want to focus sales or focus attention on different locations? All of this information we have, so we should be able to create as much of a story as we can to show the total picture, the big picture of what's going on. So again, we were looking at the funnel chart in this particular case. And again, this is just another visual that we're using to identify what is going on in this particular segment. In this segment, we're saying total sales by product. And here we have espresso, cappuccino, and we already know now we can go up here and we know we have all of those products there. So we're not going to filter by that product, because if we filter by this product, it's only going to show us that one specific product. We're not, at that point, we're not able to compare that against anything. So let's look at product by age group. Who is actually buying, or, well, we've got total sales by product. So now we say total sales by age group. And now we see that 18 to 24-year-olds are primarily buying cappuccino. Uh, Now I've got 1,000. We've got 1,000 here, 1,000 here, but this is actually rounded, so this could. Now we're showing 1,023. If we highlight it, now we see that that's 800. So we have this 800. This 1,000 is actually an estimate, but we can tell by the different bars that it's slightly bigger or slightly more is being purchased by those 18 to 24-year-olds. And if we go to the 45 to 54-year-olds, we can see the 45 to 54-year-olds, they're purchasing more espressos, and it's not rounding to 1,000 because they are hitting the halfway marks. I was going to say that the funnel was going to be the last one, but the last one we're going to look at is the last chart that we have in our report, which is a table. And basically a table is, just like we used over here to analyze our data, we pretty much said, hey, we don't want all of this information. We only want part of this information. So basically we used a table and we brought in just the information that we're looking for. And the information that we brought in was product, peak hour sales, and customer feedback. And as I said before, if you don't have color schemes provided by the customer, then you can probably, rule of thumb, use red, yellow, and green as negative, positive, and neutral, or good, bad, and indifferent. So in this particular case, we have negative feedback indicated by red, we have neutral feedback indicated by yellow, and we have positive feedback indicated by green. So we have analyzed the coffee shop. We have analyzed the coffee shop, and I hope you guys have, one, learned something about Power BI. Two, that you have taking a good look at what we're doing here and saying, hey, creating a dashboard really is not that hard. Creating a report is really not that hard. It's about developing the skill sets that you need in order to get that 48 to $55 or that average six-figure salary, out there that you may be looking for. If that's what you're looking for, the powerofthebi.com is definitely what you want to participate in. Go right on over to powerofthebi.com and get signed up. And we look forward to working with you. The Power team looks forward to working with you. So with that said, thank you for stopping by and spending time with us here. And we look forward to seeing you again in the next video.